Let's make it a good day.
Coming up today, rude RuPaul. Find out why the Drag Race host is getting called out, and what does H&M have to do with it. Then, drama, tears, tantric yoga. This week's episode of The Bachelor has it all, and producer Ted has his legendary recap. And what gadgets and gizmos will you need for your home for the rest of winter? The Gadget Guy returns with the must-haves for the season. Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Jason Show. We are live from our studios in the Twin Cities. Hello, Coon Rapids. Hello, North Minneapolis. Hello, Brooklyn Park and Center. And hello, Edina. I'm Jace. Kendall has the day off, helping me out through this first segment. You know him, you love him. He's America's favorite air fryer user. It's executive producer Jeff, everybody. That's right. Look at that.
I'm pulling double duty here.
You are. You know what this is? And I'm sure all of you that watch our show, you stick around and watch Wendy. You're like Wendy's executive producer. You have the headphones on, the Janet Jackson headphones. You're doing double duty. You're running the applause button. You're doing it all.
Give me a beat.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Okay, speaking of programming on Fox 9, I got to tell you an embarrassing story that has me suffering from a little bit of secondhand embarrassment. So yesterday, it's actually firsthand embarrassment. So yesterday, right after our show, I had a satellite, we call them satellite interviews. I had a Zoom interview with the ladies from The Real, airs here locally on Fox 9. The story, by the way, will air tomorrow. So as I'm going through, and again, it's through Zoom, so sometimes it's hard to hear all of the ladies speaking at the same time. So Jeff, who was it exactly? It was Jeannie, right?
Yeah, Jeannie said it first.
Jeannie goes, I'm like smiling, I'm like, hi ladies. And Jeannie goes, oh my goodness, I love your set. And I went, oh, and I went, oh, thank you very much. I go, I love our set too. It's very Pee-wee's Playhouse. And I start talking. So we went on. And then this morning I come in, and during our meeting, Jeff goes, I have something to tell you. Jeff, tell the audience what happened.
Well, I was watching the interview back, and what Jeannie actually said is, I like your specs.
My specs. So she was not complimenting my set. She was complimenting my glasses, to which I said, oh, it's very Pee-wee's Playhouse. I go off. I'm like, thank you. She didn't even care. She couldn't care less about our set. It was really about my glasses. Now I feel stupid. Are you cutting that out of the piece?
No.
No, we're going to leave that in now?
No.
Great, wonderful.
I didn't know Pee Wee Herman wore glasses.
Well, he didn't. I was saying that our set, because it's colorful, is like Pee-wee's Playhouse. But anyway. Hey, as I said, Kendall's off today, but she did email me. We have good news. Did you hear how much the mug went for?
No.
So the mug, Kendall is working with the Boys and Girls Club. They had a charity event, and we auctioned off a Jason Show mug signed by the cast and crew. The final tally, from what I understand, $815 that mug went for. Now I feel the pressure. It's just a mug. So what we decided to do was, whoever gets the mug, they also get Ted for a weekend. That's right, we're going to send Ted over to that person's house.
Do they get a discount then?
Oh, wow. Whoever stands at that podium throws shade at Ted on the regular. I don't know. Ted has the control to cut off your mic today, by the way. Does he really, though? I don't know. Hey, one personal note before we get started. If you've been with us since the beginning, you know in season 1, my best friend, one of my best friends was spotlighted. She's from our sister station in Los Angeles, the Fox affiliate there, and she's the executive producer of Good Day LA. We know her as Hey Haley. Haley Hurst is a dear friend of mine. She used to work here at Channel 9. Today is her birthday, and I just wanted to say to a Jason Show family member and a member of the Fox family, happy birthday, I love you, and I'm sorry that you're stuck in California. I'm very sorry. The isolation's driving her nuts there, because it's even worse in California. You can't even barely leave your house. So I love you, Hale, and I'm lucky to have you as a friend. Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. I'm hungry today. So over the weekend, Harry and Meghan announced they are expecting their second child. Congrats. The child will be 8th in line to the throne. Wow. Dale Kaye will be king before that kid. And now we're learning who will get the first interview with the couple since the announcement. No shocker here. Oprah Winfrey will sit down with the royal couple in March for a primetime CBS special. Oprah will talk to Meghan about stepping into royal life, marriage, motherhood, and how she handles life in the public eye. They will then be joined by Harry to discuss the couple's decision to move to the U.S. And their new endeavors and whatever they're going to do. No word on if 1-year-old Archie will make an appearance. It's Oprah, so I would imagine the child will make an appearance. I love this because if there's anybody that can get anything out of those two, it's Oprah. They like Oprah. They have familiarity. I think they're neighbors. And Oprah can pull the emotion. And what I want to hear from Meghan is, how is she really dealing with this? Because I think I'm in the camp of, I think Meghan gets the unnecessary, I think she gets a big piece of the blame pie. No matter what happens, if Harry doesn't speak to grandma, who gets blamed? Meghan. If Harry's in a bad mood, who gets blamed in the British tabloids? Meghan. I think it's unfair, and I want to hear her speak to that to Oprah. Don't you?
But do you think Oprah will go there since they're friends?
Yes!
I want her to ask the tough questions.
I think she will.
Like, did you know what you were marrying into? That's my question.
She does. Okay, now Jeff and I argued, and let me stop here and say this. If Jeff and I get a little testy with each other, please don't email going, wow, you're very mean to Jeff. This is stop it. This is our relationship. We bicker every hour of the day. But anyway, I know you make that argument of Meghan should have known, but can any of us really know what it's really like to join the royal family? I don't think you can. I don't think you can ever be prepared for the storm that is marrying into that family and the total lack of privacy. And if you think the tabloid press is horrible here, they're 50 times worse in Britain. They are so awful. They're slime. I mean, it's just, luckily the tabloids here have kind of died out. Their popularity, their stature. In Britain, they're still red hot. And gross. Let's move on to something happier. Next in the dish, Bob Newhart was on with Conan last night. Bob, you talk about an icon. I say this about Betty White, that we should appreciate while they're here. It's Bob Newhart. He's 91. And even at 91, you're getting ready to see Bob hasn't lost a step. Look at this.
Bob, I said it in the intro, you really have accomplished so much in your career. You've done it all. You've met everybody. And it occurred to me, there's so many people that are the subject of a biopic these days. I think, given your incredible career, you would be a great subject for a biopic. Have you thought about who might play you?
I think The Rock.
Wait, Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
Yeah, I get mistaken for him a lot. He'll say, hey, Dwayne. And I said, no, hey, I'm not Dwayne. I'm Bob.
Hasn't lost a beat. And look, I can go down the pop culture rabbit hole at any moment. Bob is like my buddy Larry Hagman. It's a once in a lifetime thing for an actor to get one role that lives on in history. It is an anomaly. It's a unicorn with 2 horns. If you get 2, Bob Newhart has a Newhart in the 80s, and then he had the Bob Newhart show in the 70s, Saturdays on CBS. He's an icon. He is on the Mount Rushmore of television, and there's nobody like him. And he still has, if you haven't seen it, the Newhart, not Bob Newhart, that show still has one of the best series finales ever in the history of television. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And personally, I love it because Colin's uncle, Saab, is in that show. Saab is a world-renowned actor, and he plays the Japanese businessman who takes over the inn. That's, now my uncle. That's Uncle Saab, who's been in you name a show, Saab has been in it. Seinfeld, Friends, Knots Landing. He wasn't out. He played a pharmacist. Anyway, I love you, Saab. I know. He did. I keep rewinding it. Next in the dish, RuPaul is facing some backlash across the pond over comments he made on the British version of RuPaul's Drag Race. Because did you know there's a UK version, season 2? It came after a contestant admitted to buying, now this is, you don't do this on RuPaul. They admitted to buying a dress off the rack. Ooh, watch.
I thought your lyrics were fantastic. But you came out wearing a finger wave wig and something I probably could have bought off the rack at Primark, no joke.
That outfit off the rack was a huge disappointment to me. I don't want to see any H&M.
She does not want to see any H&M. RuPaul wasn't happy, saying he expects more than a simple dress from the contestants. Some viewers criticized Ru, saying that not everyone can afford expensive looks. Well, Ru's friend and fellow judge Michelle Visage is defending Ru, saying it's not about the clothing or the cost, it's what the contestants do with the clothes. And she is absolutely right. I also like her line in the tweet. Don't make this your narrative. Or how, I think she said something like that. Yeah, it's not. If you watch the show, some of the best outfits on either version are when the queens take fabric or whatever and they make it into something magnificent. It's not about the money. But woo, she doesn't want the H&M.
I like when they get testy. Like
yes. Yeah. And Ru admitted that she was a little testy because this UK version, that episode was shot after 7 months of a pause and 2 weeks of isolation. So Ru was a little icy. And I got to tell you, unpopular opinion, I think the UK version right now, I like more of the queens on the UK version than I do in the US version. Sorry. Still love you, Utica. We have a lot more to come, everybody. Go grab some more coffee, and we'll be back right after this. We're just getting started. Coming up next is The Bachelor running out of ideas for dates because this week they're doing tantric yoga. Producer Ted has thoughts. Then he's the guy who can make your smart home even smarter. The Gadget Guy returns with the hottest gadgets for every single room in your house. And what's on your mind this week? Leo, roll it. It's time to open up the mailbag. That and more when The Jason Show continues right after this.
We are going to be practicing tantric yoga. Leah is going to be leading us through that experience. For me, I'm going head first into this experience.
And we're gonna come into boat pose.
I'm not a yogi. I don't know a lot of the positions that we're doing, but I am open-minded, and I'm open to experiencing this with Serena.
Drop your belly low. Beautiful. Right?
I didn't think you could still do this.
I just am like so into Serena. I'm just taking in who she is as a person. And I know.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to say. That's Matt and Serena P taking in each other on their totally normal tantric yoga date. It was another week of heartbreak on The Bachelor. Matt began last night's episode with 11 women in contention, but with hometown dates looming next week, the field of potential wives had to be dramatically cut to just 4. Wow. And that means, once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for 77% of America Loves Ted. And joining me today from Bachelor headquarters is producer Ted Johnson. Good morning, Ted.
Good morning.
Okay, so how did that go over? How did that tantric yoga, I almost said tantric nookie, but anyway, how did the, that's after dark. How did that go over?
Yeah, Serena P, not so much into the taking each other in as a person thing.
Yeah.
If you could see it on her face, Serena P thought it was a weird date.
Well, yeah, look at this.
She was like, I would not have chosen this as our date. This is their second date. And he's like, oh, let's do tantric yoga. And she's just like, you're weird. Get out of my face.
Yeah, look at her. You can totally tell by her body language. She's like, can we just go to like IHOP or something?
Yeah. Note to anyone out there who's on a potential second date, don't do tantric yoga.
Okay, so somebody, what was her name? Heather, she came back last week?
Heather, so remember Heather, she walks in, she was the never been kissed girl from Colton's season. So she quarantines for 2 weeks to get back on the season with with Matt. She thinks he's the one. Well, I mean, hometown dates are next week. So he's like, yeah, you can't stay. And so she has to walk back to the minivan that she rented and drive that away.
I'm sorry. Sorry. She's just getting. She's driving? ABC can't afford a driver?
Yep. If you, I guess, come in this late, you have to rent a minivan.
Oh my.
The first bachelorette in history to ever have to drive the minivan away.
Wow, I know times are tough over there on the Alphabet Network, but you would think, and nothing against minivans, but this is a primetime television show.
Yeah, you would think that they would be able to at least get her a driver.
But get her an Uber. An Uber's $47 to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one of your favorites was Abigail, and rumor has it that what happened to her prevented you from sleeping well last night.
I woke up this morning and I was still angry. Okay, Abigail, we loved her. Week one, she was the stuff. Remember her? She's the one who's deaf, like the first deaf contestant ever, and she opens up to him. Night one, he gives her the first impression rose, right?
Yeah.
So first impression rose usually means you're a front runner. Well, she has not gotten a one-on-one date since that first impression rose. So it's like, what in the world is going on? Well, last night she sort of sat him down and said, what in the world is going on? And this is how he explained why he was sending her home. Leo?
From night one, our first conversation, I was instantly drawn to you. You were vulnerable with me, you're beautiful, and compassionate, understanding, everything that I'm looking for. And it was a no-brainer that I give you the first impression rose. And I was so comfortable in our relationship that I explored other relationships. And in exploring those relationships with other women and going on those one-on-ones, I did grow strong feelings for them. And being honest with you and following my heart's pulling me in another direction. I apologize.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let me get this straight. So he liked her so much that he didn't feel the need to pursue anything with her. So he pursued other women.
And shockingly, he developed feelings for those other women. He basically put her in the freezer and was like, I'm going to put her in the freezer for now, and then we'll bring her out in a few weeks. And then he just never took her out.
And we all know after a while, food gets freezer burn. And it's never as good as when you initially put it in the freezer. So how did that poor lady react? Was she mad? She should be.
Yeah, she was mad. She was mad, as was I.
Okay. And finally, he had a one-on-one with Jessenia. What's her name?
Jessenia. Okay,
Jessenia.
like, who is she and why is she getting the one-on-one when Abigail could have gotten the one-on-one? Anyways, he goes on this one-on-one date. They're at their dinner, and he's wearing, like, a pullover sweater. Like, at least dress up a little bit for this. So then he says, she's like, I'm in love with you, even though we haven't spent any time together. And then he starts dangling the rose in front of her, and he sends her home.
Wow.
So we could have given that to Abigail.
We're down to 4. Give me the 4, Ted.
So we've got Bree. We have Michelle. Michelle's the local girl from Edina.
Okay.
We have Serena P., who we saw, who I think he's probably more into her than she is into him. And then we have the controversial one, Rachel, who is probably going to win.
Well, at least he'll give us a segment or two to talk about. There we go. Thank you, Ted.
Abigail.
Thank you, Ted. And if Abigail is watching, his email address is ted. I'm just joking. I'm not really. But seriously, I am serious, though. If you want to email Ted, that'd be great. Next on the dish, Kate Winslet surged onto the Hollywood scene back in 1997 in a little bitty movie called Titanic. Her career since then has been anything but conventional, taking on several indie roles. She talked about that choice on our favorite show, CBS Sunday Morning. Look at this.
When I did Titanic, I turned 21 on that film. 21. That's a year older than my daughter, who hasn't left home yet. So I was still learning who I was, and I was learning about the craft, and I was really scared. I wasn't supposed to be famous. I wasn't meant to be talked about and lauded and feted and have these offers made to me by big studios.
Instead, she chose her own path.
There was a lot of, are you sure? I mean, you know, these moments might not come around again. You know, are you really sure? Yeah, I'm sure. I'll make that tiny movie in Marrakesh that no one's going to see. I'm good with that.
It's paid off.
You know, I think it pays to be true to yourself. But I'm definitely at a time in my life where I really do feel very strongly about telling stories of unsung heroines and also playing my part in ensuring that women aren't objectified on film as much as I feel they perhaps have been.
Do you think it's changed the
Yeah.
whole Hollywood?
I'm so glad she said that. So Kate's been nominated for 7 Academy Awards. She won the Oscar for Best Actress in 2009 for her role in The Reader. Kate is always, it was one of the things, and I love her. I'm a fan. I've been a fan since Titanic. One of the things I've loved about her is she was outspoken about body image before it was ever, and I don't want to say the cool thing, but before it was ever talked about with any regularity. She really was proud of the fact that she wanted to show girls that you don't need to be, you know, a model size, and nothing wrong. I don't believe in skinny shaming or fat shaming, but you know, women are made up of all different shapes and sizes, and she was very proud of the fact that, you know, she wasn't a sample size. And she got mad at magazine editors when they wanted to Photoshop herself or her waist or her. She was, and I love that about her. And she did that years ago. And that's really brave. I mean, think of the pressure. You're in the #1 movie in the universe, and roles are rolling in and money's rolling in for you to be in more blockbusters, more quote unquote mainstream blockbusters. And you instead choose smaller movies that just speak to you, and you're in your 20s. I couldn't pay my electric bill in my 20s, and she had that spirit. I love her, right? I mean, she's just the best.
And she was 21 years old.
21 in Titanic.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. She celebrated, I remember her interview. She was with James Cameron, and she goes, I celebrated my 21st birthday. And her 21st birthday, fun fact, because you know, I can't tell you where a lot of states are, but I can tell you this. She celebrated her 21st birthday one of the days they shot the flooding scene. Remember when she's in that cold water, the water starts to rise in the below deck? She was 21 and that water was genuinely cold. So when you see that, remember when she goes to rescue Leo's chained to the pipe, and she goes down, she goes back to get him, and she has to go inside that rushing water. That water is cold. They didn't warm it up. So when you see her reaction, Kate said, that's her real reaction. Crazy. Next on the dish, the cool thing to do in Hollywood right now is to apologize to Britney Spears. Another celeb is expressing regret over how he treated the pop singer. Gossip columnist Perez Hilton says he regrets a lot or most of what he said about Britney. Perez wasn't, and this is putting it mildly, wasn't really nice to Britney in his gossip blog days over the years, calling her an unfit mother. And after Heath Ledger died, he wore t-shirts saying, "Why couldn't it be Britney?" Perez has received criticism in the past for most of the things he said. He outed Lance Bass. He said Michael Jackson's death was a publicity stunt. And he accused Ariana Grande of becoming addicted to cocaine, to just name a few. I have a lot to say on this. We don't have time. I have to take a commercial. I think whenever, because we're talking about this a lot, whenever we're talking about so-called cancel culture, or whenever we're talking about people having to come to terms with stuff they've said in the past, I think what we all need to remember is levels of nuance. I don't think every case is the same. So I will just take Perez Hilton's case. Here's why I have a little problem with his apology. Once again, it took a scandal for him to apologize. He's apologized in the past, but if you look at his social media, though not as bad as the early 2000s, he still goes after people. So that's why it rings a little disingenuous to me. And when he did apologize yesterday on Good Morning Britain, as he's apologizing, he goes, and I'm paraphrasing, well, I bet Piers Morgan feels bad. I bet Diane Sawyer feels bad. If your apology was strong enough, it could stand on its own without you having to bring up other people to prop up your apology. Just saying. Still ahead, we're opening up the Jason Show mailbag, but next, need some more gadgets? I love this guy. Steve Greenberg is back with the best in home tech. We're gonna make your smart home even smarter when we return. Back in a moment. We're still spending a lot of time at home. And we may need some gadgets to get us through the rest of winter. Here with the latest in home tech is our good friend, the host of the YouTube show, What the Heck Is That? Who the heck is that? It's the Gadget Guy, Steve Greenberg, live. Now, let me guess, Steve, let me start with this, because, you know, it's 77 below zero here. So just give me, are you in your Miami place right now?
I'm in Miami. I got here 2 days ago, and I am so grateful to be here because it was freezing in New York, and it's beautiful here. So yeah, I'm gonna have location envy, I guess, but I can't stand the cold, and this is much better.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. I know you guys are freezing up there. I
It's all
apologize.
right. It's all right.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
The first thing, my friend, is a water leak system. What is this?
This is pretty cool. I've seen a bunch of these in the past, but this one really caught my eye. It's from a company it's called Peril Protect. It's right over here. What's cool about it, it's the only really water system out there that for a monthly fee provides water sensors, monitors those sensors, sends alerts to your smartphone, and will dispatch local emergency contractor repair if needed 24/7 anywhere in the US. Also, look at these monitors that you have. They have a lower one for when the leak starts, a higher one when the leak gets, the water gets higher. You place these things around your house in the high-risk areas, a bathroom or the AC closet or whatnot. This, what I love most, you plug this in and there's no internet involved. You just plug it in and they're done. No passwords, no Wi-Fi, nothing. And it works. So for a senior, this is ideal. You just put the little cubes around where you need them, plug this in, and now your house is being monitored for a water problem. So this is really pretty amazing, and it's a reasonable fee as well, I think.
Yeah, and it is one of those things where just you do it once and you don't have to worry about it again. I love that.
Right, and it's simple. I mean, what I like about it, it's super, super simple. Again, perfect for a senior. So I think Peril Protect is something they should look into. And again, all over the country, which is great as well.
So many.
Next.
Yeah, the gimbal.
Yeah.
The gimbal. What is this?
So I have it set up right over here. This is a thing that holds your smartphone. It can either horizontally or vertically, and it's got a little eye right here. So once it learns you, as I move, it will follow me. So as I go, so if you're doing any kind of Instagram selfies, or you're doing some sort of tutorial online, or FaceTime or whatnot, this is a great way to have it actually stay with you as you move around. You're doing a cooking segment, seems like a natural for that. The Gimbal Pro. So I have a friend who's helping me shoot this segment, but if I didn't have a friend here to help me with it, I could be doing it with the Gimbal Pro. And see, as I move, I'm gonna move a little bit more. It's gonna move with me.
And that's a great,
pretty cool.
That price point, Steve, $64.99. That's not bad for that.
Not bad at all. Great technology. This is a little company out of Los Angeles, and I just fell in love with it. I use it a lot. And it's great for doing those selfies, and you see it really does work. And you don't need an app. And I could do 360. I could walk way around the table and it would follow me. It's amazing, and the price point, as you said, is pretty reasonable. And I'm actually fascinated by it. So next, moving over here. Okay, he's gonna stay there. This one Zach follows me a lot better. This is called the charge card. It's not a credit card. It's truly a charge card. This has an attachment for either being an iPhone or for an Android. It fits into your wallet, and then you can carry your charge with you anywhere you go. It's got this ultra high speed charging ability, technology built into it. So it really does charge up your phone fast or anything else you need to charge up. And it fits into, it's only about 1/4 of an inch thick. So you can take it anywhere with you. I've got one in my wallet right now. It's just great when you're low on batteries. This is the way to go. Charge card, great name. I love it. The Aquavault.com is the company that came out with this, which I think there are a bunch of young guys that got together, real entrepreneurs, and came up with the idea.
Steve, that is the invention of the year. I love that.
Isn't that, and look how thin this thing is. It's unbelievable. I love it. So next, we're all needing companionship during the pandemic, or even when there's not a pandemic. So this is from Japan, and this is called the Kubo Petite. And it's this little armless, headless cat. That's the way to describe it.
Oh my God.
But it reacts to your voice. As you scratch it, it reacts. It's got a heartbeat, and it purrs a little bit. And it was actually developed for nursing homes, for nursing home residents, to kind of keep them occupied and give them some companionship. But in Japan, it's taken off, and like teenage girls are crazy about it. And it's like gone all over the place. It's coming to the US this year. And this is one of the first ones to get to the country. So I got it. So I have to show it to you guys. And this is called the Kubo. Now, I have to ask you, Jason, Do you think this is adorable or creepy? What's your thoughts?
Oh, Steve, I got to tell you, as you're sitting there petting it, it's kind of creeping me out. How much is the headless cat?
He's about $110 when he gets to the U.S. And he's got a lot of technology in him. And like I said, there's this little heartbeat going on, and a little bit of purring that you probably can't hear over the Zoom. But it's just
Okay.
it's just a very interesting little gadget. But I thought you especially would
Steve,
get a
can you
kick
stop
out of it.
petting it? Steve, you're creeping me out. Can you stop petting the headless cat, please? You're creeping me out a little bit here. More with my buddy, the Gadget Guy, Steve Greenberg, when we come back. That's scary. That's very scary. Welcome back. Can't get that cat thing out of my head. We're back with the Gadget Guy, Steve Greenberg, with more at-home gadgets. Steve, put the cat down.
Okay, I'll put the cat down. I thought I just backing away from the cat. Okay.
Okay, what's this ThinkPad? What is this ThinkPad?
Well, part of when CES, the Consumer Electronics Shows that's in Vegas every year, this year was made all digital. So I watched it from my home and went to it. So I found a few things from that I thought were worth noting. One is this ThinkPad X1 from Lenovo, and I believe we have some video of it. It opens up like a regular, like a regular PC laptop would, but you can take the keyboard out, and the whole thing becomes one big foldable screen. So you can open up, so you got this monster screen, the keyboard comes separate. When you finish using it, you can put the keyboard back in it, fold it back up, and it's back to being like a typical laptop. But the fact that the screen is so foldable makes it so much, you've got this big screen anywhere you go. So I thought that's very worth noting, and we'll see a lot more of these foldable screens as the years go on. The next thing is Samsung came out with this really cool thing called a Bot Handy. It's a robot, a one-armed robot that really does give you that extra hand you need around the house. It can do things like put dishes in the dishwasher. It can help pick up laundry around the house. One of its tricks is that it can actually pour you a glass of much-needed wine at the end of the day.
Wait. Wait a minute. It can what? Steve, can you repeat that, please, for us in the back of the room?
It can literally pour you a glass of much-needed wine at the end of your day. It can, that's how delicate it is and how it can pull it all together. It's got a lot of artificial intelligence in it. And this is the beginning of the robots you saw in the movies in the past. Well, we're now getting closer to that. This one really can do it all. It's Bot Handy from Samsung, and they had some really incredible online demonstrations of it. I sent one clip to your producers, which I'm sure you're watching right there now. But it's absolutely amazing. The whole demonstration was like a 45-minute, and it was just like incredible what it can do. It can literally spot laundry around the house, pick it up, put it in the laundry, turn on the machine. It can do all of that. So it's definitely the helping hand we're all going to need in the future. So
when do you think we're going to see that, Steve? When do you think we're going to see that at like Best Buy?
I think we're probably a couple of years away from it, but not too many. Less than 5, I'd say. I think it's more than a year or two, but less than 5, because the thing is working right now. They already have a bunch of actual functioning prototypes that seem pretty successful. Part of the secret to it is going to be 5G. You need faster internet for it to do a lot of its thinking, but all that's coming together right now. So I think it's going to happen before you know it. Very cool. And then another one I liked, again, kind of for seniors, was a Nopal. It's a earpiece that you put in, and you attach another piece to your smartphone, and then you can sit, let's say, a table for dinner, and you can direct who you want to listen to, so that, in a cluttered restaurant, especially when you're older, it's so hard to hear all the voices. But when you can narrow it in and then have the earbud, you could actually have a much better conversation with that person. And I think it's kind of a must-have for the over 60 crowd. So it's called Noopl, and it's a little company with this really cool technology.
Wait a minute, Steve. Yeah, you're right. It's definitely for seniors. But let me tell you, it can block out people you don't want to listen to. I'm all for it. I'm going to buy this for myself.
And also, sometimes even when you're younger, it's like there's just so much clutter going on at a noisy place or a bar or a restaurant. In the future, when we're back at bars and restaurants, this will be a great way to really narrow in on that conversation you need to listen to. So I think it's definitely something, and it's out right now. So it's pretty cool from the folks at Noopl, Noopl. And then last but not least, of course, we're all doing so much Zooming. So you're probably asking yourself, like, what to wear? What's the correct fashion for Zooming? So this I saw, it's called the work onesie. And this is a one-piece suit that's got a dress shirt on top, sweatpants on the bottom. And this is what everyone needs to be wearing when they're doing their Zoom calls. It's the ultimate in.
Okay.
I got a little. Yeah, you saw my demonstration of it. I gave it a little runway walk to show you what the chic in look for 2021 is going to be.
Oh my goodness! Would you wear that to Target, Steve?
I would wear it anywhere because I have no shame at all. In fact, to prove I have no shame, I'm going to show you that. To shamelessly plug my game show, I'm wearing my shirt here. It's GadgetGameShow.com. Jason, you better become a subscriber. There's no fee to it, but I'm looking for GadgetGameShow.com. Have your viewers check it out. It's a lot of fun. We take gadgets. I have a panel trying to guess what the gadget is. It's sort of like what the old "What's My Line" was. Only instead of a guest, the guest is a gadget. So check out GadgetGameShow.com.
This is what I love about Steve. Other guests, we have to make a graphic for their plug. No, Steve just wears his plug.
Oh, no.
That's great.
Here's my graphic.
Look at that. Oh, my goodness. I love you, Steve. Thank you, buddy.
Love you, too. Take care. Stay safe. Stay warm.
Thank you. Check out Steve's YouTube show for the love of all that's good, please, so he doesn't have to wear that shirt anymore. Just head to the GadgetGameShow.com and on social media. Follow him, Steve TV. When we come back, everyone, we're opening up the Jason Show mailbag next. Welcome back. A little throwback for you this Tuesday. 30 years ago today, that song was the top of the charts. CC Music Factory with Gonna Make You Sweat. Wow, that was in that was one of those pop culture, that was everywhere, like sincerely. Okay, time to see what's on your mind. We're opening up the Jason Show mailbag. Roll it, Leo.
You've got mail.
That's right. First up, so many of you loved yesterday's show, and I loved it too. We kicked it old school, celebrating my 20 years on the air here at Fox 9 with some throwback clips as well as a few old celebrity interviews and places that are no longer open. Barb says, loved the show today. Jason looks are so different from the baby face he used to be. Yeah. And Sandra says, I love how your voice is always clearly you. Your looks have changed, but you still look positive and stay happy in all of the segments. And John says, we're sure lucky, happy, and thankful for you and your show. Thank you so much for making us smile and laugh every day. I can really tell that you love your job and that you have fun. Keep up the really great work. Yeah, it was fun yesterday. I went, I got off the air yesterday, and all day I was thinking, because I really haven't looked at a lot of those clips since they aired, and I just had a lot of moments of kind of gratitude. And I don't think we do this with ourselves enough. I kind of had a moment of, and I would encourage everyone, kind of like a attaboy, you know what I mean? Kind of, I was like, I didn't realize, life just kind of happens. And then when you see it reflected back to you that way, you're like, if you work hard and you do what, you come from a place of yes, and you dream, and you have an ounce of luck, and you have good people that can help build the bridge that you walk over, your dreams really can come true. And I hope that message, I really hope that's kind of the message that people got yesterday, especially young people watching. It takes a while and it takes hard work, but your dreams can come true, and I hope people got that. We're going to do another one of those shows on Monday because Jeff, executive producer Jeff, has a treasure trove of embarrassing clips. We have more coming up on Monday. Well, not everyone is happy with me. It's a day that ends with Y. I told you yesterday about the person who asked me to pay them back for renting a movie I recommended, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. Mary messaged us and said, Barb and Star is the worst movie ever. And Alice also has a complaint. She says, would someone please get Jason a table that doesn't echo when he hits it? Great show. You're right. When I get excited, I slam my little desk here, And we are, if Sheila Oliver is watching, or Mim, our boss, we are working on a new desk. But anyway, I get excited, and I apologize. I don't want to bother people. And as far as Barb and Star, guys, I told you, I warned you. I said it's not for everybody. I'll say it again, not for everybody. Finally, MN Husker shared a funny picture. Remember the guy who accidentally, teleprompter roll up, please. Remember the guy who accidentally had a cat filter on Zoom? We had producer Ted do something similar as a little joke. And here's a picture of MN Husker's cat watching Ted surrounded by cats. A little meta there. Cat watching Ted watching cats, and da-da-da-da-da. You can stay connected with our show on social media. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Just search for Jason Show TV. And again, thanks everybody for your messages yesterday. I read a lot of them, and I greatly appreciate it. And again, thanks to the staff for putting that show together. I appreciate it. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after these messages. I want that robot. I do. I want that robot. That's cool. It can get you wine. But then Jeff reminded me, he's like, don't you have an assistant? The assistant can't get me wine, though, Jeff. I think that's illegal. I don't know. I don't think it is.
You have a husband.
Oh, that's right. He does get me wine. Anyway, hey, don't forget, sign up and be a part of our Jason Show virtual audience. It's really easy. Just go to the Jason Show Facebook page. Click the link at the top that we posted. Sign up for a certain day, and you will be a part of the show. Okay, it's time for the bubblegum goodbye. Let me see what the mystery question is today. Here we go. What is something embarrassing you did in high school? Oh. Well, that'll be a 2-hour special someday. But I'll give you one of them when we come back. Back in a moment. Made a joke about 1985, and floor director Tyler just said I wasn't even born yet. My goodness. Jeff, you and I were 11, man. Were
we driving yet?
We were driving, yeah. We had facial hair. Tyler wasn't even born. Anyway, speaking of being young, so the mystery question today is, what's an embarrassing thing that you did in high school? I always say to my mom, to the Dar that's watching, I'm like, you were lucky because I had a really good friend group. We didn't drink, we didn't do drugs, we weren't in jail. I mean, we were really good kids. The only trouble we ever got into was, and I grew up in Michigan City, Indiana, which was a small town, about 47,000 people. And there was an inordinate amount of massage parlors all over Michigan City. And just look at me, folks. You know as well as I do, there weren't massages going on in those parlors. And we all knew it. It was legendary in this town. I mean, we're a town of 47,000 people. There were more massage parlors than gas stations, and we don't know why. So our friend group, we had a thing on Friday nights. We'd go to a movie, and we'd stay up late, go to the 24-hour burger place, and our goal, because those places were open 24 hours, because just in case you need a massage at 1 a.m. So our goal was we had to go in there, try to use the restroom, try to get them to let us use the restroom, so we could sneak in there and see what was going on, and to prove that we got in there, we had to steal something from like the waiting room or whatever. So I went in with my friend Megan Tebow for Halloween one year. Megan was dressed as a nun, and we went in there and we figured, well, the people can't say no to a nun. Sure enough, they did not say no, and we got in there, and I stole some lotion from one of the rooms and came back out. And yeah, that's about the worst thing I've ever done. And then they saw us laughing and were screaming at us as we're walking out of the health spa. Keyword health. There we go. Again, small town life. It was very boring. Tomorrow on the show, I chat with the ladies from The Real. Oh, you'll see the interview I talked about at the top of the show. Hey, I love your set. No, spectacles. That's what she's talking about. That's tomorrow. But right now, if you are watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Stay warm, and we'll see you tomorrow.